What is going on, Solo fam? My name is Jon Solo, and this is Messed Up Minute, the new series I thought of months ago, but I'm finally launching out of desperation. As you can no doubt tell, or maybe not because I'm really just sitting in a corner with the same picture that's always next to me, I'm in a brand new office. I just arrived in a foreign land called Arizona, and I'm not even the least bit settled in. As a result, I thought now would be the perfect time to introduce Messed Up Minute, the short form version of Messed Up Origins, where we do real quick deep dives into the most insane parts of Disney, folklore, and mythological history. And what better place to start this series than covering one of the most wild creatures in all of Greek mythology, centaurs. For those unfamiliar, centaurs in mythology have a reputation for being crazed beasts who love nothing more than to drink, and fight, which is basically what you'd expect from something that's 1/4 human and 3/4 horse. And like most mythological figures, centaurs have a very strange origin story. This king named Ixion, who Zeus allowed into Olympus as his guest, had the hots for Hera, Zeus's wife and queen of the gods. Zeus wanted to put Ixion's loyalty and gratitude to the test, so he crafted a Hera look-alike out of a cloud nymph named Nephili. When Ixion woke up in the middle of the night to find who he thought was Hera lying next to him, he forced himself on her and got her pregnant. As you can imagine, Zeus was pretty pissed about this, so he punished Ixion by blasting him with a thunderbolt, then tying him to a wheel of fire that never stopped spinning. Now, as for Ixion and Nephili's love child Centaurus, this guy was basically the Greco-Roman equivalent of Sloth from Goonies. He was hideously deformed with a severely hunched back and wasn't welcome among the gods or mankind. And what do you do when you don't get along with your neighbors? You move to the mountains and f*** horses, of course. Okay, maybe you wouldn't handle it that way, but that's exactly what Centaurus did, without protection. In fact, the boy went so ham on those horses that they gave birth to an entirely new species, centaurs. Now this is where things get a little complicated, because the centaurs that exist in popular culture today may not be the most accurate representation according to the ancient Greeks, depending on where you get your info, of course. No matter what, they were half man, half horse, but where those two halves began and ended is what's up for debate. They were either A, man from the waist up with 4 horse legs, or B, they had the full body of a man with a horse's body attached to their back end. It's a real shame they weren't half man, half donkey, because then I could have said they had an ass's ass attached to their ass. The reason there's some confusion over the Centaur anatomy is actually because of how they're portrayed in ancient Greek paintings. For example, both Kyron and Pholus have been shown with the full body of a man and the full body of a horse. Now the difference could just be from artistic interpretation, but there are 2 other theories. One, Kyron and Pholus appeared in multiple plays, so this portrayal simply reflects their costumes, which called for a simplification of the centaur form. Or 2, it's to show that, unlike the other centaurs, they had divine roots. And actually, while we're on the subject, let's do a quick overview of Kyron and Pholus, because they're definitely the most notable and unique centaurs. First, Kyron, Zeus's half-brother. His father Kronos was king of the universe before being dethroned by Zeus. We've actually already done an overview of his full story, but in short, you can think of him as the Philoctetes of real mythology. In addition to training great heroes like Jason and Achilles, he's also credited as the first being to use medicine. Unlike his Disney counterpart though, Kyron's experience with Hercules/Heracles was nowhere near as positive. Apparently, while inspecting one of Heracles' arrows that was dipped in the highly poisonous Hydra's blood, Kyron dropped it on his foot, causing himself unbearable pain. Zeus, who had pity for his immortal half-brother, decided to put him out of his misery and place him among the stars as the constellation Centaurus. That's at least one of the ways he was believed to have died. There's another myth involving Pholus that's way crazier. Unfortunately, we don't have too much info on the Pholus character himself. We know he was similar in temperament to Kyron, meaning he was calm and kind as opposed to violent and horny like the other centaurs. We also know he was the son of Silenus, a satyr-like creature who had horse legs instead of goat legs, and one of the Meliae, the nymphs of the ash tree. But the only myth Pholus is featured in is the one that leads to Kyron's death. One evening while having dinner with Heracles, the hero convinces him to open a jug of wine. The only problem was this wine was very potent because it was a gift from the wine god Dionysus, who was actually mentored by Pholus' father. The smell of the godly wine wafted through the mountains, and not only did it attract the other centaurs who were known for being party animals, pun intended, it got them fucking wasted. They all ended up blacking out and attacking Heracles, who responded by lighting them up with his club and poison arrows. The hero chased the fleeing centaurs to Kyron's cave, where Kyron was hit with a stray shot. The end result was essentially the same as the last myth, only this time Kyron had to transfer his own immortality to the titan Prometheus so he could die. I know, that's a little confusing, but the way I interpret it is that by sacrificing his immortal life, Kyron gave Prometheus, who at this point was being indefinitely tortured by having an eagle continuously devour devour his regenerating liver another chance at life. This all had to be done with Zeus's blessing, who only allowed it because he took pity on his half-brother. He was still pissed at Prometheus for giving humans fire and wanted to continue punishing him. And this all happened because Heracles wanted to crack open a bottle of wine. Can you believe it? What's even crazier is this wasn't the first time something like that happened either. At the wedding feast of King Prometheus, a bunch of centaurs got drunk and tried raping his bride, which led to a full-scale brawl where a number of the guests and centaurs in attendance were brutally murdered. In summary, centaurs are some of the most aggressive and menacing creatures in Greek mythology, and they don't make for good drinking buddies. And on that note, SoloFam, we're gonna wrap up this episode of Messed Up Minute. I realize it was longer than a minute, but don't take the name too literally. Anyway, I just want to say thank you all so much for watching, liking, and subscribing. Don't forget to comment your thoughts down below, follow me on social media, and stay tuned for another episode of Mythology Explained coming next week. Until that day comes though, my name is Jon Solo, and remember, Jon shot first.